Final Fantasy VII was a phenomenon. It was responsible for popularizing Japanese role-playing games in America, awakening people to the joy of story-driven adventures in fantastical worlds. A versatile combat system and complex characters cemented this PlayStation centerpiece as a game worthy of its abundant praise. But its most memorable and impactful aspect has had negative reverberations that are still being felt. Jaw-dropping. Mesmerizing. Unbelievable. The cutscenes in Final Fantasy VII try to destroy the barrier separating motion pictures from video games. Your reward for surviving an impossible battle, for completing a humanity-saving quest, was to watch an elaborate cinematic unfold. The attention to detail was stunning. The animation, striking. Previously, games had told their stories with blocky characters communicating in modest dialogue boxes. But this was epic and real and visceral. We were happy to place our controllers on the ground, lean back in our comfortable chairs and soak it all in. Gaming had evolved. But at what cost? Final Fantasy VII was built on a foundation of excess. From its inception, flash and sizzle were thrust to the forefront. Burning a relationship with Nintendo, Square formed a union with Sony and their boundless storage space offered by the PlayStation CD drive. Their advertising campaign centered on cinematics, on megabytes storage space, and all things tangential to the act of playing. One ad read, "If it were available on cartridge, it would retail for around $1,200. Square's new focus was clear.
They said it couldn't be done in a major motion picture. They were right.
Not only had Final Fantasy VII finally pulled Japanese role-playing games out from their cozy niche in America, but it skewed the perception of what those types of games should be. Flashy visuals were imperative to go toe-to-toe with Square's behemoth, so many developers either emptied their bank accounts to compete or scurried to the handheld market where visual expectations weren't as demanding. Square has been struggling to reach the pinnacle of Final Fantasy VII for almost 2 decades and have subverted what their enduring franchise has stood for in the process. Constantly being reinvented, Final Fantasy has become a dartboard of ideas as Square desperately tries to replicate the success of Cloud's adventure. And in their unwavering march, they've tarnished their own legacy. Final Fantasy XIII was the epitome of this downward spiral. So stubborn in their mindset, Square placed outstanding visuals above all else and stripped the franchise of the freedom and flexibility it used to so effortlessly exhibit. This emphasis on offering movie-style presentation has forever changed the face of the industry. Final Fantasy VII ushered in the era of the blockbuster game, trying to capture the same market as Hollywood's summer movies. Advertising campaigns centering on non-interactive sequences, funded magazines and television programs, trying to lure in unsuspecting people who thought those dazzling images were more than just over-the-top cutscenes. And this push toward marketing manipulation changed how video games are designed. How often do you hear developers utter those 2 charged words? Cinematic experience. Final Fantasy VII was the game that started the trend that's still going strong today, infecting the active participation of gaming with the sedentary passivity of movies has undercut much of the core appeal of playing a game. No matter how entertaining the cutscenes in Metal Gear Solid 4 and Max Payne 3 may be, By following in Final Fantasy VII's footsteps, they've diverged from a path of gripping interaction to one of passive staring.
We're in the jungle now.
Video games are a medium all their own. But in Final Fantasy VII, Square walked away from its history and tried to mimic the movie-watching experience. And that's the legacy of this unforgettable game. Though its timeless characters will endure forevermore, its ultimate impact is a push towards cinematics. Just think how strange it is that the reward for playing a game well is to watch a movie.